All right, let's get into it. Not that long ago, the entire tech world was convinced of one thing. AI was coming for the software developer's job. It felt like a done deal, right? Just a matter of time. But what actually happened when the hype met reality? Well, the truth is way more surprising, and frankly, a lot more interesting than anyone predicted. I mean, check this out. This is the kind of quote that just sent shockwaves through an entire industry. Back in 2023, the CEO of one of the world's biggest AI companies wasn't just hinting at a change. No, he was predicting a full-on extinction event for an entire profession. And believe me, he was not the only one thinking it. And then the hype machine went into overdrive with numbers like this. Some analysts were claiming that up to 80%, 80, of all software development could be automated by 2026. We're not talking about some far-off sci-fi future. This was supposed to be right around the corner.
And just like that, the prophecy was written. You had these huge claims, some mind-blowing tech demos, and companies just started pouring cash into AI coding tools, fully expecting to revolutionize their engineering departments from the ground up.
And look, this wasn't just talk. We're talking about the big guns here, putting it to work at a massive scale. When a company like Google comes out and says AI is already writing more than a quarter of all its new code, that prophecy starts to feel like a certainty. The takeover felt like it was already happening. But then, as these tools started moving out of the lab and into the messy, complicated real world, the cracks in that perfect narrative started to show. The actual results? Well, they started telling a very, very different story. And this is where it gets really fascinating. You see the prediction on one side, mass layoffs for developers, but the reality on the other? Whoa, tech layoffs were actually down by 27%. Companies realized they needed more human oversight, not less. So what on earth was going on? Well, the answer seems to be something that researchers are calling the productivity paradox. See, it turns out the initial hype was based on a pretty big misunderstanding of what a developer's job really is. It's not just about typing code, it's about solving incredibly complex problems. And that's where the data gets really interesting.
Minus 19%. Just let that sink in for a second. A huge 2025 study from Metra dropped this bombshell, and it flipped the whole argument upside down. It found that senior engineers, the most experienced people in the room, were actually 19% slower when they used AI tools. Not faster, slower.
So here's the paradox. The AI felt faster because it spits out code in a blink, but that code often needed so much reviewing, debugging, and straight-up fixing that it actually created a net loss in productivity. Senior developers were spending an extra 8 to 11 hours a week just cleaning up the AI's mess.
And you can see exactly why they were slower right here. Look at the number of issues detected in the code. The AI-generated stuff consistently had more problems, almost twice as many in this study. Every single one of those extra errors means more time, more cost, and a bigger headache for a human developer to solve.
And this isn't just about one developer's speed. This problem scaled up to the entire business. An MIT study found that a staggering 95% of enterprise AI pilot projects, 95, failed to show any clear return on their investment. The hype just wasn't matching the reality on the balance sheet.
But beyond productivity and cost, there's an even bigger, scarier problem: security. A major report in 2025 found that almost half of all AI-generated code had critical security flaws. In some programming languages, that failure rate jumped to over 70%. This isn't just inefficient, it's flat-out dangerous. And these aren't just abstract numbers on a slide. This over-reliance on AI without really understanding its limits has led to some absolutely spectacular, high-profile failures that show you the real-world consequences. You have to hear the cautionary tale of Builder AI. They were the poster child for the whole AI revolution, valued at over $1 billion, promising to create entire apps using only AI. But the secret to their magic AI? It was a team of over 700 human engineers, secretly doing all the work. When the truth came out, the company just collapsed.
Or how about this one from late 2025? A powerful new AI agent from Google, which had deep access to a computer's systems, made one single mistake and completely wiped an entire drive. Just gone. It's a stark reminder of the huge risk you take when you hand over that much control without human oversight.
So when you put all this evidence together, it points to a new, much more intelligent way of thinking about this. It's not about AI replacing humans. It's about understanding where, and more importantly, why, the human absolutely has to stay in the loop. And this gets to the very heart of why those early predictions were so wrong. AI is an incredible tool for following instructions, but it can't handle messy human reality. It can't read between the lines when requirements are vague. It doesn't get the broader business context, and it sure can't anticipate all the bizarre ways a user is going to try and break the software. That takes human judgment and experience.
And that brings us to the real takeaway from this whole saga. The future isn't about eliminating developers. It's about augmenting them. It's a partnership. You use AI to handle the simple, repetitive tasks so that the human experts can focus on complex problem solving, on architecture, and, this is the big one, on being accountable for the final result.
Which really leaves us with this final thought, doesn't it? We've proven AI can write a line of code, sure, but when that code fails, when it leaks customer data or breaks a critical system, who's responsible? The question of accountability is where this whole conversation is headed next, and it might just be the one thing AI can never, ever automate.